the Pledge of Allegiance.
Of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Will the Secretary please call roll?
Commissioner Benninger,
Present.
Commissioner Escamilla, Commissioner Leo,
Here.
Commissioner Ramos, Commissioner Wu,
Here.
Vice Chair Oliva,
Here.
Chair Pham.
Here.
Chair quorum has been reached at 5:31.
Thank you. Before we begin, I would like to remind my fellow commissioners to turn your microphone on when speaking and off when not speaking. And when speaking, please place the microphone about 4 inches away from you. Members of the public may attend Planning Commission meetings in person or virtually via Zoom. I now invite the Commission Secretary to describe the way the public can access and participate in the meetings.
This meeting is being live streamed via our portal at www.sana-ana.primegov.com/public/portal and to YouTube at www.youtube.com/City of Santa Ana videos. If you would like to provide public comment, you may do so in the following ways. Join the meeting via Zoom, enter meeting ID number 849-866-25096. When the item that you would like to comment on is being discussed, select the hand icon to let us know you would like to speak. You will be called upon by the name you entered. You can also join the meeting by calling 669-900-6833. Enter meeting ID number 849-866-25096. When the item that you would like to comment on is being discussed, press 9 to let us know you would like to speak. You will be called upon by the last 3 digits of your phone number. After you're called upon, you may press 6 to unmute yourself. For those who are attending this meeting in person and would like to provide public comment, please fill out a request to speak form and turn it into the secretary. All speakers will have 3 minutes to speak. I will alert you when your time is up.
Moving on to the public comments on non-agenda or non-public hearing item. Madam Secretary, does anyone wish to speak?
If you're attending this meeting in person and would like to comment on non-agenda or non-public hearing items, please fill out a request to speak form and turn it into the secretary. If you are participating via Zoom and would like to comment on non-agenda or non-public hearing items, please select the hand icon and unmute yourself. If you're calling in and would like to comment on non-agenda or non-public hearing items, please dial 9 and then 6 to unmute yourself. Chair, we do have a speaker. You have the request to speak form.
Thank you. Let the record show Commissioner Ramos just joined us. We have Mr. Mark Spratt.
Chairman Pham, members of the Santa Ana Planning Committee, my name is Mark Spratt. I've proudly called West Floral Park my home for the past decade. Our city, Santa Ana, is rich in history and culture, but faces urgent challenges. Our aging infrastructure, water lines, sewers, and streets need major repairs. We also lack adequate open spaces and parks for recreation and youth sports. Additionally, we face a looming sales tax shortfall of up to $30 million annually once Measure X sunsets. To address these issues, I urge you to set formal hearings for the related Bristol redevelopment project. This 41-acre mixed-use urban village off South Bristol Street offers substantial benefits: 7,500 new jobs, 3,750 apartments for middle-income workers, and $500 million in net surplus revenue for Santa Ana over the next 30 years. From what I gather, the developer is ready to proceed, but no formal hearings have been scheduled. Delaying jeopardizes the proposed $535 million in community benefits, including 13 acres of open space, a police substation to enhance public safety in South Santa Ana. This project aligns with the city's revised general plan for South Bristol Street Corridor, fostering a vibrant, walkable community. As a dedicated small business owner, homeowner, and resident, I urge immediate action to schedule hearings for this transformative project. Inaction signals a lack of support for Santa Ana's businesses and residents. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you, Mr. Spratt. Let the record show Commissioner Escamilla just joined us. Is there any other speaker?
We don't have any additional speakers.
Thank you. Moving on to the consent calendar, is there a motion to approve item A, minutes from April 22nd, and item B, excused absences?
I move.
I second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Wu and a second by Commissioner Benninger. Madam Secretary, please call roll.
Commissioner Benninger,
Aye.
Commissioner Escamilla,
Aye.
Commissioner Leo,
Aye.
Commissioner Ramos,
Aye.
Commissioner Wu,
Aye.
Vice Chair Oliva,
Aye.
Chair Pham.
Aye.
Motion approved by unanimous consent.
Moving on to the business calendar. I will now review the process for the public hearing so that everyone knows what to expect. Staff will provide a presentation and answer questions from the commission. The public hearing will then be open. The applicant will then be given the opportunity to speak, limited to 15 minutes. Members of the public will then be given the opportunity to comment, limited to 3 minutes. The applicant will then be given the opportunity to respond to comments made by the public, limited to 5 minutes. The public hearing will then be closed. Discussion will return to the commission with formal action taken to approve, deny, or question or continued review of the application. Please consider the following suggestion when organizing your comments. Please state your name and address, which is voluntary. State whether you support, oppose, or are neutral to the proposal. Your statement should include all pertinent facts within your knowledge. Please note, decisions on this matter is final unless appealed within 10 days by any interested individual or party. Recommendations on this item will be forwarded to the City Council at a later date for final determination. This is the time and place for conditional use permit number 2024-04 for the property located at 2029 East First Street, located within the Arterial Commercial C5 zoning district. Before we begin, do any of the commissioners have anything they wish to disclose? Seeing none, Christian Santana will now provide a brief presentation. Christian.
Thank you, Chair. Good evening, Chair and fellow planning commissioners. Tonight, I will be presenting a new conditional use permit for a ABC Type 41 license. Junior's Burgers is requesting approval of conditional use permit number 2024-04 to allow the sale of beer and wine for on-premise consumption at an existing eating establishment located at 2029 East First Street, located in Ward 3. Staff is recommending the adoption of the resolution approving the conditional use permit as conditioned. The site is located within the general plan land use designation as District Center Medium High, or otherwise known as DC3. The site's zoning classification is in the Arterial Commercial District C5, which this site is also located within the city's MIMU overlay. The surrounding land uses include professional office to the north, south, and west, as well as a commercial motel located east of the site. The existing 2,576 square foot standalone commercial building is located on a 1.4 acre lot located on the northwest corner of First Street and Golden Circle. Junior's Burgers occupies the freestanding 2,578 square foot commercial building located on the corner, and the on-premise sale and consumption of beer and wine will be ancillary to the indoor dining service operations at Junior's Burgers. The restaurant can accommodate up to 44 patrons. Proposed business hours are from 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. Monday through Sunday, and there's also no live entertainment being requested at this time. This slide provides some background on 2029 East First Street. The site was originally developed and operated as a Carl's Jr. from 1987 into about the mid-2000s. From 2008 to 2018, a restaurant named Johnny's Burgers occupied the site, and from 2021 up to 2022, another operator named First Street Burgers also operated at the site. The applicant, Junior's Burgers, was issued a certificate of occupancy on August 24th of 2023. Since taking over the building, Junior's Burgers has invested in exterior improvements, such as updating the signage as well as updating the paint on the building facade. Junior's Burgers is a locally established full-service restaurant specializing in traditional American-style food service offerings, as well as the alcohol consumption will be Junior's Burgers will be a full-service restaurant specializing in traditional American-style food service offerings in which the alcohol consumption will be an ancillary component to. Here is a site photo of Junior's Burgers taken from First Street. And then here is a site plan of Junior's Burgers. The building is outlined in red right here. And then here's a floor plan of the building. As you can see, alcohol storage is being proposed to be located here behind the register as well as the dining areas. Based on an analysis of the project, Junior's Burgers meets state and Santa Ana Municipal Code qualifications to be considered an eating establishment eligible for a Type 41 license. The storage and display of alcoholic beverages which is less than 5% of the gross floor area, proposed at 0.02%. The police department has reviewed the request and they found that the site is located within police grid number 245 and is ranked 18 out of 102 police grids, which is within the 17th percentile and is within the 20th percentile threshold established by the state for high crime. With that said, the Santa Ana Police Department is still satisfied with the request and does not oppose granting of the CUP. Santa Ana Police Department believes that the operational standards and conditions of approval included will mitigate any potential impacts to the surrounding community. Moreover, there are no code enforcement violations on this site. Conditions of approval, property maintenance agreements, and the Santa Ana Municipal Code operational standards will address any other potential impacts, negative impacts on the sites. Additionally, while overconcentration of on-premise licenses for the sale of alcohol consumption is not a factor for analysis within the Santa Ana Municipal Code, it is staff still participated in analysis and carefully evaluated the East First Street corridor, which is currently experiencing heightened levels of loitering, transient, and illicit activities. During a site visit, staff observed that some of these existing conditions have resulted in a less than favorable environment for many commercial businesses along the corridor. An example, loitering and prolonged stays of transient or individuals around the immediate area have created an unattractive environment for visitors and customers at certain commercial properties. And for these reasons, enhanced conditions of approval have been added to ensure that the East First Street's corridor's ongoing issues are not exacerbated by the addition of this restaurant's request for a CUP for alcohol consumption. Some of these added conditions include condition number 2 on Exhibit A, which requires that alcohol servicing hours be restricted to the hours of 9 a.m. to 10 p.m., Monday through Sunday. These are the proposed operational standards for the restaurant. Also requiring that the applicant, if in the future wanted to modify these hours, would return to the city, and at that time, planning would review any outstanding code enforcement violations, as well as request that the police department review the site for any increased number in service calls or reports generated from the sites since approval of the CUP. Should the modification be acceptable to approve, the approval of the modification can be done at an administrative level, subject to review of the planning manager and/or their designee. Condition number 6 on Exhibit A is included to specifically bar the applicant from conducting transactions or service of alcoholic beverages through the drive-through in any form. Alcohol is restricted to consumption on site and must be served in a separate container provided by the operator. Condition number 7 on Exhibit A requires that the applicant install updated signage on the drive-through and the pickup window that states that alcohol consumption may not be served or sold via the drive-through. Alcoholic beverages may also not appear on the drive-through menu boards. Lastly, there are other conditions of approval in relation to site improvements, such as the repair of damaged driveway approaches, repair of damaged light fixtures adjacent to the drive-through, removal of unpermitted temporary signage such as banners and feather flags, and the refurbish of landscaping areas around the drive-through. Please note that these are not all the conditions of approvals listed, just some of that staff wanted to highlight. For a complete list of conditions of approval, you can reference Exhibits A and B. Pursuant to the California Environmental Quality Act, the project is categorically exempt from further review as the project is classified under Section 15301, Class 1 existing facilities. The environmental review number application 2024-13 will be filed for this project. And there's no physical impact associated with this action. With that said, staff recommends approval of adopting conditional use permit number 2024-04 as condition. The applicant is also in the audience to take any questions if needed. Thank you.
Thank you, Christian. Before we open the hearing to the public, do any of the commissioners have any questions for Christian? Commissioner Benninger?
Yes, for the city. I had attended over there when it was First Street Burgers, and it looked like the drive-through area has not been used in a while. When that happens, the drive-through loses the ability to operate after a while? Is there any limitation? Obviously, Carl's Jr.'s used it, but I don't know how many years it hasn't been used.
Thank you, Commissioner Benninger. Traditionally, if a drive-through is legal non-conforming, then it can remain as such because it would have been built prior to any CUP requirement. I'll defer to Christian, though, if this drive-through facility has a CUP.
It doesn't.
So thank you. So because this one doesn't have a CUP and it was built prior to the requirement of having a CUP for a drive-through, not utilizing it and then utilizing it after some time is not always a threshold for sort of removal or.
It's kind of grandfathered in.
Right.
Second question, do we have any other facilities like this in the city to where alcohol is served inside the building but not through they have a drive-through window?
We do have two other locations that have ABC licenses as well as drive-throughs, but they're theoretically not supposed to sell alcohol via the drive-through.
Next question, do we ever check on them?
Can you repeat that?
Do we ever, well, no, I think it's beyond the planning, but I just asked us, we ever check on them? It seemed very tempting to sell through that window, that's all. To go back to it, as far as number of licenses in the area, where are we? Number of licenses are in the area, and what number this would be?
So there are 11 existing licenses, 5 that are type 41s and 2 that are type 47s.
Okay. Are we approaching any sort of limit on those licenses?
So California Department of Beverage Control, they theoretically allow 10 on site, so that's why it's over concentrated because there's 11 existing. However, that's only applicable to off sale requirements, not on sale. So it theoretically is oversaturated.
That's my questions, thank you.
Commissioner Escamilla?
No questions right now.
Commissioner Leo?
No questions. What safeguard do we have that you could go through the drive-through and buy the hamburger, but then someone in your car goes in and buy the alcohol? And is there a monitor system for monitoring alcohol being taken out of the premises? Like that falls under the same category that other eating establishment have to have the same kind of.
So that's why we included the additional conditions of approval to make it very specific and clear that no sale of alcohol can be done via the drive-through. So if someone were to pull up in the drive-through on the menu board wanting to order, there would be signs on the menu board as well as those types of guards to prevent any sale of alcohol. And the staff would also be notified.
I couldn't hear you well. Did you say we are oversaturated or we are not oversaturated?
It is oversaturated by ABC by 1. It's Theoretically, 10 are allowed to sell alcohol within that census designated district. And the limit is currently at 10.
So what does that mean?
It's oversaturated by one ABC license.
So we would be within our rights to not approve the CPUC?
Commissioner Wu, thank you. These are great questions. What I would just share is, as Christian is saying, the municipal code doesn't have over concentration requirements when it comes to on sale like restaurants, only for off sale like liquor stores. But still, the state has its standards, which is where Christian's staff report got that number. So if the commission were to approve the applicant's request this evening, then the applicant would have to author a letter of rationale as to why the license is needed to be considered by the state of California. And the state would then adjudicate and whether to issue the license. It's only at the off-sale like liquor stores that the commission has to make that adjudication for over concentration. So if the commission approved it tonight, that would be the applicant's next step with the ABC. If it weren't approved tonight, then there would be no further action.
So it's not within our jurisdiction as to the oversaturation, but related to an eating establishment on the zoning, that's where our jurisdiction lies.
That's a great summary of it.
Okay.
Commissioner Ramos?
Yes, so my first question is, have we had other establishments that wanted to sell alcohol on site that had these additional like requirements written into their CUP?
Thanks, Commissioner Ramos. So as part of Christian's research on this particular case, because it is so unique with a drive-through, Christian looked at the entire city's ABC licenses and found that 3 were approved prior with alcohol for drive-throughs. Of those, one of them, Favori Restaurant on West First Street, no longer uses its drive-through. It's boarded up. The other one is, I believe, Dino's Burgers on West First Street.
Yes.
Thank you. And then lastly, not too long ago, not for this commission, but in about 2011, there was a drive-through at, what was the Italian restaurant in North Tustin?
I can't recall the name, but it was off of North Tustin.
It was the SPW Italiana restaurant. It's Tutto Fresco, I think is the name, yeah. So that one was 2011, and it has a CUP to allow it with sort of a secondary drive-through like this restaurant has. What I will point out that I think what staff and Christian was alluding to on one of the prior slides is that this is the first one where staff actually went above and beyond in really considering like the implications of allowing alcohol sales at a restaurant with a drive-through. For example, the conditional use permit from 2011-3, like, you know, in all honesty, barely even acknowledges that there was a drive-through there. So this one, to answer your question directly, yes, it has extra conditions for those reasons.
Thank you. Yeah, that's what I was wondering, specifically about the conditions around the hours which it can be sold. I know Commissioner Wu asked, how do you prevent people from taking alcohol outside? And I did read that alcohol inside has to be served in a different container to make it clear that it's only for indoor consumption. So with that, I know at many establishments that do sell alcohol indoors, there's typically signage that states that it cannot be removed from the premises, so you can't walk out with it. I'm wondering if that's just something that establishments set up on their own, or is that also language that we should include here? Like as an extra, just check mark.
That signage is certainly within your purview to require as an added condition. It is also already required by the state of California for issuance of an ABC license. However, many times the commission may choose to simply reinforce that at the local level too through conditions in case future operator like removes those signs. It would not only render them in violation of their state license, but also in violation of their local permit.
Okay, thank you for sharing that. That's something that I would be interested if the commission was going in the direction of approving.
Vice Chair?
No questions.
Christian, just to confirm, it's within the right of staff down the road if there were complaints or if there were occurrences where, the public reported that alcohol was being consumed outside of the premise, that it was within our right to revoke the ABC license. Is that correct?
That's correct.
No other comments from me or questions from me. We'll open the public hearing. to the public. Would the applicant like to speak? If you approach. State your name and then,
Hello, my name is Alexis Acosta. I'm the owner of Junior's Burgers, and today we are here to see if we get approved for the ABC license. For this, our goal is to just bring families together, sporting events, just create a good ambiance, and just in general, just have people have a good time. Do you guys have any questions for me?
Commissioner Benninger, do you have any comments for the applicant?
Yes, what do you feel, how much is this going to increase your sales, do you feel? 20, 30%?
I do believe it's going to have a significant increase. It's going to attract, like I said, more families, more, let's say like football people, sporting events wise. I feel like we will have a good increase by like 30, 35, 40%.
I want to also compliment you, but you're younger than what I am. I'm glad to see young owners starting to come in the city, so I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Commissioner Escamilla? Commissioner Wu?
How do you implement responsible drinking in your establishment? Are your employees trained to?
They will be taken into training, so we know how to prep them to properly require safety rules and to have regulations and
So
rules.
you're aware of them?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Ramos? Vice Chair?
No questions.
Is this your first time operating in an ABC license or an
Yes, my
establishment?
first time.
Is this your first establishment of F&B
Yes.
food? Seeing there's no other comments, thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Secretary, have we received any communications or is there members of the public that would like to comment?
We have not received public comment prior to the 4:30 deadline. If you're attending this meeting in person and would like to comment on this item, please fill out a request to speak form and turn it into the secretary. If you're participating via Zoom and would like to comment on this item, please select the hand icon and unmute yourself. If you're calling in and would like to comment on this item, please dial 9 and then 6 to unmute yourself. Chair, we do not have any speakers.
Thank you. We'll close the public hearing. Before we entertain a motion, is there any comments? Commissioner Escamilla?
Yeah, no, I just wanted to thank staff. I didn't realize that Dino's actually had an alcohol license, and as did Favori with the drive-through. So I believe that the applicant is in good company with those two local Santa Ana institutions that are amongst my favorite hamburger joint and a Vietnamese French fusion places in the city. So thank you for that bit of trivia.
Commissioner Leo?
Yeah, I wanted to let Commissioner Ramos know I'll second her addition to the motion. I also wanted, since he's a first-time applicant and an owner of the license, is there a 6-month review in the current conditions? Just so that he's on track and we're on track. If there's he can come back 6 months, if all's good, then let it go. Is there a condition in there now? If not, I'd like to add that to the motion, just so that we're both on the same track. I don't remember seeing it in the conditions if there's a 6-month review at that point, just so that he doesn't have any violations and there's not any violations that have occurred. I don't remember seeing it.
We can add that onto.
You can add that? Okay.
Yeah.
Would you mind if I amended that to add that? Okay.
Commissioner
That was
Leo?
my only comment.
Thank you, Commissioner Leo. Just in the past, such conditions have also been that staff would conduct the review. And then if there's any sort of need to bring it back to the planning commission, it would
That's
be
fine.
at the applicant's sole and full expense.
That's fine.
So if we capture that essence, we can work on the language.
Great, thank you.
Commissioner Wu, did you have a?
Yeah, I agree with Commissioner Ramos and Leo in terms of the concern for public safety and health. And I don't want the owners and business to feel that we're penalizing you by making these comments. But I think it's within our responsibility to ensure the health and safety of the community, to impress upon, since this is your first license, and you want to keep it, to work hard to make sure that you enforce the rules, to understand it. And as your clientele builds for your parties and your event, that it doesn't get out of hand, because then that adds up. And then what you gain, you will lose. So I want you to succeed, but we also, since it's on First Street, it's a racing street already. We don't want intoxicated people to get on the street and then go racing, So I just want to add a word to that about the staff monitoring and whatever Commissioner Ramos is going to add on.
Vice Chair, any additional comments? Commissioner Ramos, I can vocalize the two additional.
Yeah, so I'd like to make a motion that also requires a signage inside that states that alcohol purchased inside cannot be taken outside. And I'd actually also ask question for staff, can we also require signage, and it can be the same sign, but that also just adds that alcohol consumption is not allowed, like, on the outdoor premises? Like, is that something that's done, or?
That is perfectly fine. If there's outdoor dining, by making such a condition, then any modification as such would have to come back to the planning commission
Okay,
if there were a request for that. So we'd have the signage about no taking it offsite, and then indoor only, and then the 6-month review. Age requirements.
Oh, that's a state.
Or a state law. And then I would just advise, as a matter of good practice, to ensure that the applicant's okay with these added conditions. I have to formally reopen the public hearing.
We'll reopen the public hearing with the applicant. Like to confirm that, did you understand the additional conditions, and are you amicable to the conditions? Okay. We'll close the public hearing, bring it back to the commission. Looks like the applicant is amicable to the additional conditions. We have a motion by Commissioner Ramos. We have a second by Commissioner Leo. Madam Secretary, please call roll.
Commissioner Escamilla, did you want to share something?
Oh, no, I just thought technically, I don't think we added Leo's language into the formal motion. Oh,
Yeah,
did?
so I
Oh,
didn't
okay,
state it,
perfect.
but staff summarized it. So is that sufficient? Okay.
Please call roll.
Commissioner Benninger,
Aye.
Commissioner Escamilla,
Aye.
Commissioner Leo,
Aye.
Commissioner Ramos,
Aye.
Commissioner Wu,
Aye.
Vice Chair Oliva,
Aye.
Chair Pham.
Aye.
Motion approved by unanimous consent.
Congratulations. That'll conclude the business calendar. Moving on to staff comment. Ali, you had a few things to share about the APA conference.
Yeah, thank you. The APA conference will be held this fall in late September, early October in Riverside for the California APA. In the past, a couple of commissioners have attended if interested. It is early bird registration right now, so if anyone's interested in participating, please email the recording secretary so we can keep tabs. I am very proud to say that the city submitted a session proposal on environmental justice efforts in the city, and it was selected as a session panel. So a couple of us will be speaking at that, and we hope to see you there. That's it.
Do commissioners have any closing comments? Commissioner Benninger?
It's been mentioned in the past, and I like to support it. We have a large project taking place in my area of the city, and I surely would like to see us move on. We can have some discussions without the applicant, and mine mostly is traffic, the environmental impact report that's already out, written, and education to what is a CED level of intersections, which is being proposed down there, so we understand it. So when we come to time to meet with Raleigh and Bristol, that we do understand what the issues are being talked about. So if there's any way that we can move that along, or even have a discussion here of stuff that's out already, it would help move. Because I don't think we're going to do that approval in just one session, myself.
Commissioner Escamilla?
Yeah, no, just want to thank staff for that generous offer. That's going to be fun over in Riverside. Definitely echo my fellow commissioners' comments on let's get the conversation on related going. I think it is, whatever happens, we just need to have that conversation publicly at this point. And I guess just a quick update on something more related to the Historic Commission. So there was the item that I had commented on at the last Historic Commission kind of public comments period, or the Commissioner public session, where we might be looking at the destruction of a local mural over at Memorial Park. So I'm trying to find out more information about that presently. So that's Emilio Vasquez Chicano Gothic murals. I know that's more related to the Historic Commission, but just as an update and FYI to the planning folks here, it is something I'm presently concerned about and trying to find out more information. So thank you, Ali, for that offer of finding out more. But then just trying to let other folks up here know about that.
Commissioner Leo?
Yeah, I don't know if everybody saw the opinion column in the Register, I think it was a week ago, about the large project in South Santa Ana. I'm wondering, is there, we can actually do something. I mean, we can actually put it on the agenda ourselves, can we not? How many does it take to put on the agenda at this point? I mean, there's a legal procedure for us to do that, right? 3 or 4 of us can vote and put it on the agenda. I'd let the chair entertain it, but I think we can do that. At this point, the whole conversation has gone on around us. And everybody's got an opinion, and we're the ones that get to make a recommendation, and the city council gets a vote on it. So is there a legal process for us to actually put it on the agenda and at least have the discussion? I'll ask the commission lawyer.
On that one, but if you put in a motion, I'll second.
I think you can see, if there's a legal way to do it, we're going to do it tonight probably, if there's a procedure to do it.
We'll look into it and follow up with the commission. I would encourage, as a matter of just good practice, the sentiments are being heard loud and clear. If there's more discussion that starts to get into the specifics, like some of the elements that Commissioner Benninger was mentioning, I just wouldn't want it to be seen as it's being discussed outside of a sort of formally recognized hearing. So I would just tread cautiously with the commissioners, but we can certainly provide you information one-on-one on the latest status, including sort of where the city is in certain elements and what is still needed from the applicant to move forward.
So what you're saying is there is not a legal process for us to put it on there?
What we're sharing is that we can certainly look into that and inform you. We can follow up via email with the commission.
Okay. It's gotten so far down the road. They're having discussions around us. Everybody's having discussions around us, and we're the 7 people that get to decide and make a recommendation. Not only is it not fair, but it's not fair to the public. So I'll leave it at that. And I think the other thing is, on a separate matter, there's another project right behind it, just as big. And if we're going to do it this way now, what's it going to look like the second one? And it's hard for me to understand. And then there's one other thing I wanted to raise. I have a question actually for staff. My question is, when these large projects come in, does everybody get in the room, or is it only planning? Is it only planning, or does Public Works, do you sit in the room? Is there an initial review by everybody? Because what appears to have transpired in several projects is Public Works comes in later. And that's not appropriate. Either get them in the front end so everybody's got questions, or set up a team to handle these large developments, whether it's Main Place, whether it's down at our end of town. It's just gone on too long. And I don't know what the process is, but maybe we need a red team to deal with just large developments. And I don't think we have that. So maybe we need to do that. So those are my comments.
Commissioner Will?
Perhaps I can rephrase it. Would it be within our purview to request that staff work on a discussion for action as soon as possible?
Thank you, Commissioner Wu. As stated prior, I would recommend that we carefully evaluate the requests and then follow up with the commission on what that process exactly would look like. As much as there might be interest for any project, and I'm keeping it generic,
Right.
to bring forward a project in this manner, I would also want to make sure that the public process is not violated in that process, resulting in disqualification of all 7 commissioners from voting on it. So that's why I'm kindly requesting that I've heard the sentiments, and I'll relay them, of course, to our executive management team. But furthering this
And I didn't want to
discussion-
tie your hand because there may be things that we're not aware of, which is why it's not ready, because usually when it's ready, you do present it. And I think the concern is that there, like Commissioner Leo said, there's too much discussion going on, and we haven't had a chance to weigh in on it.
Commissioner Ramos?
Yes, just more like general and broad, I'd like to make a request that the commission just be reminded maybe at a future meeting on what our, like what is at our discretion and how we can add items to an agenda. So I know that the commission does have the purview of setting like work study sessions on different things. I know in the past, the commission had a like work study item on gentrification a few years ago. So I think it would be great if we're just reminded of like what we can agendize separate from whatever is staff initiated. Thank you.
Vice Chair?
No comment on today's meeting, but I was looking at our agenda and it says that our next meeting's on May 27th. And is that a typo?
Thank you, good observation. It's the regularly scheduled meeting on May 27th, but that meeting will be posted with a notice of cancellation. So it'll be duly noticed as canceled, and then the next regular meeting will be the one in June.
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I think I would urge all the commissioners to, for more detail, I would reach out to Ali or Min privately, just because I think, as Ali mentioned before, if we were to establish priors about a certain project, it would be very difficult to have an official public hearing on that item and establish that we did not have any preconceived thoughts about the project before it came to an official hearing. So that's my recommendation, to reach out to Ali personally. And same thing with the agendized items. Ali can refresh all of us with what can and can be done. And I do acknowledge, I think we've all seen all the op-eds and all the statements online and everywhere else about this project, and it makes sense because it's a large project, but we'll just hope that everything, both parties, the city and the developers, are in agreement before we continue. Other than that, seeing there's no other comments, we'll close this meeting. Meeting will be adjourned, scheduled for the next available time, council chambers. Thank you.